Huge mission to gather all the 2,000 learners from their homes in a matter of days to prepare and take them to camps which we have created. But I can say that learning and teaching has started. We have been able to create timetables, create accommodation space, and make the educators comfortable as well for everyone to focus on the core business of education, which is learning and teaching. And
the 2,000 learners that you're talking about is all matriculants? That
Absolutely.
Is in the catch-up program?
The grade 12 learners from Vuwani area.
What has transpired? How are they feeling about this, taking them from the areas where they live now to a camp where they need to finalize or basically catch up what they've lost?
You know, Elvis, I'll put it this way. We had planned to take them by midday on Sunday, but by 6 o'clock they were already at the schools. Yes. That was an indication for us that they were hungry for education themselves. Because of that, we had to take them even earlier because they had shown the enthusiasm and interest to be taken to places where they were going to learn without any interference from any protests or any interruptions. So what we have observed as well is the fact that they want to catch up. They understand that if this year were to be wasted, it would be time that would never be recovered in their lives.
Now, the 2,000 learners sounds all very good and well, but there's 150,000 learners from the other grades, which is outstanding, which you still need to look after. What are you doing about those?
Well, we continue to negotiate with the community because remember, the camps have been established in cooperation and support by the community of Vuwani. It was them who said, you know, what do you want to do? How can you help us? We had to get together and agree that the best way to assist the grade 12 learners was to remove them from that area. And we were able to do that, but the focus was on the grade 12 learners only. So what we are going to do now is to see if we cannot reach some form of agreement on the other learners. You're right, we have 50,000 other learners that are still stranded, and we believe that sooner rather than later we'll be able to find a solution for them.
Now, the 2,000, it has been moved to temporary facilities in other schools. What are you going to do when the schools reopen? Because this helps you now with the holiday period where you can accommodate them and make sure that they do catch up on the programs.
Well, the centers were former teacher training colleges, so they have boarding facilities. These are camps designed for people that have come for learning and teaching. And whether there are holidays or not, our business will still be able to continue. So we are grateful for that there has been such spaces that have been available in the province that can be used for this purpose.
So if the situation doesn't normalize in Vuwani, they will continue with the catch-up program and continue to finalize, to get ready for the exams for 2016?
Yes, that's the plan. The plan is to make sure that all the work that they have not been able to do due to the protests, they are able to do all of that and be able to write their media exams as well. The whole purpose really is to catch up so that by the end of the period that we have set aside for the camps, they need to be on the same level with all other learners across the country in terms of the education schedule.
Normalizing the situation in Vuwani, you talked about mobile classes, classrooms that has been delivered to Vuwani. Are those classrooms being utilized at this present moment, or will they be utilized?
We hope they will be utilized. Up to now, they haven't, because we delivered those mobile classrooms immediately after schools were bent down, hoping that the situation would normalize back then, but that didn't happen. So we hope that now that we are able to engage the community and we've been able to remove the grade 12 learners, we believe that negotiations will then proceed to talk about the other grades. And if that situation gets back to normal, the mobile classrooms will therefore be used, especially in those schools where classes were completely gutted.
Now, the teachers that has not been working for the last couple of months, they are still being paid by the department?
Well, they have been paid because, remember, it was not their own doing that they were not able to go to work. It was due to the extraordinary circumstances in their communities that have forced them out of school. Intimidation was reported as another concern, which also made them to stay away from school. So that is perfectly understood. It's just that now that we have camps, we require some of them to come through to help, especially those that teach in high schools. But those in primary schools will have to wait for a settlement to be reached.
So the resource at least is being used partially, even partially for the 2,000 learners that needs some tutoring.
Yes.
But do you perhaps think that this was perhaps a waste of time in terms of the time that has lapsed now for the teachers, and how will they catch up in terms of what they've lost over the period to teach their kids, especially the lower grades we're talking about now?
You know, there will have to be a way to catch up, because what we are doing with the grade 12 learners is that they are in the camps, and learning and teaching there happens for 6 days, which means they rest for a day. And the rest of the time they are learning and teachers are teaching. The program starts at 7 in the morning and they end at 6 in the afternoon. So we have those long hours, long days of teaching time, because we want to try catch up. We believe that if the other grades were to go back to school, we'll be able to implement our plan, and they would also be able to catch up. It's just that we don't want this period to go another month, because then it becomes impossible to catch up.
What is the sense that you're getting from the community? Will there be normalization soon?
That's a difficult question to answer, because the matter that is at issue here is really not one that concerns education. It's got to do with demarcation, and we believe that the relevant departments and the relevant entities will attend to that matter to the extent that the community is satisfied, or something to that effect, that will ensure that we get back to normal business in that whole area, not just for education, but also normal business, because local businesses are being affected as well, and the shutdown is still on, in other words. So we don't want that to be sustained much longer than it already has.